All right, we live. All right, roger that. Welcome to the 2023, well, 2022 Penn State versus Toledo head-to-head, hosted at Penn State in the Blue Ice Arena. I'm Matt,
I'm Mary.
and we'll be commentating tonight's game. So you got a camera to work. He's supposed to work. Oh, you're a menace. Uh, just adjusting some camera angles.
Some minor technical difficulties. Okay. All right. Apologize for that, but it looks like we are smooth sailing now.
Sure does. We are currently in the first end. All right, Toledo throws again, attempting to get another point in the house. All right, Penn State skip, Jimmy Wendelak is calling for a draw between those front two rocks. All right, looks to be a little on the light side. Let's see if they can get it through.
Looks to be about
Right?
online. Sneaking
Never mind.
between the two. Out of the house.
Too fast, but good line going straight through those front two rocks. Toledo's going to attempt to follow up that throw. This one looks to be a better weight. passing the hog line, but falling a little bit inside, tapping that blue guard. All right, Penn State is down to its final 2 rocks for this end.
Seems to be dying a little quick.
Sure does. Looks to be a little bit wide. Appears they're trying to draw into the right-hand side of that house.
Did not make it past the hog line, so it's thrown out of play.
I would consider that a good strategy. Neither team has opted to utilize the right-hand side of that house, instead trying to draw through the front. So while I like the intention, Brock was just a little bit too light to actually stick.
Very true, Matt. See if they can sneak one in the right of the house, as you said. It's pretty open. Looks like that's what they're calling for.
And without a good view of the house, it appears that Toledo is either sitting 1 or 2, depending on the location of that rock at the front of the house.
Looks like we gotta get some eyes on the ice to confirm that.
Sure does.
Alright, let's see what they can do. Calling for a draw on the right side of the house.
That's right. It looks like Toledo is electing to follow up the Penn
Looks like
State
it's
rock
also
on the
dying.
right-hand side. Looks like they're going to end up making the same mistake, throwing a little too light. And the rock's going to die just south of the hog line.
Once again, does not make it past the hog line and is thrown out of play. Ice seems to be moving slow.
It really does.
So hopefully the teams learn to adapt and give it a little more oomph.
Adapt and survive. Now, them failing to draw around the right-hand side gives Penn State another chance to repeat that's second to last shot of theirs, drawing around those guards in the front. And this could be their position to have a sitting stone in the house.
Decent speed on that. That's going to make it past the hog line at least.
It does. Looks like they got a little more power, but not enough
Not
to
exactly
clear.
what they wanted. At least it's in play.
It's like if either team wants to keep playing the outside of the sheet here, they're going to need to put a little more power, throw a little bit wider.
Does it, so I see
Sure
both
does.
teams will definitely work out some.
Toledo with the hammer advantage.
Looks like there's some speed on it. It's going to move some stones around.
They let the rock. Looks like they're trying to elevate one of those front yellows. Falls a little inside and
Just moved around some guards, not necessarily advantageous. I'm curious to see who's sitting and by how much. We'll get some eyes on the ice.
But it does look like Toledo might walk away with this early game point.
All right, Toledo with the first shot. Toledo having a guard at the top of the house. Looks like Penn State's going for a similar strategy. Really good shot by Penn State. However, Toledo is trying to take out that stone. They just placed pretty close to the button, so let's see if they can do that.
But yeah, an interesting turn of events. Penn State is currently sitting one very early into this end.
Our
So the
on-ice analytics have confirmed the score is 1-0. Toledo is up.
all right, Toledo electing to sit on that Penn State blue rock sitting. So they threw a little outside.
Not quite online. Looks like Penn State's going to want to set up a guard and protect that stone in the middle, and that looks like what the skip Jimmy is calling for.
Actually, it looks like they're choosing to take the aggressive route. They're going to use their hammer advantage and try to get as many points in the house as possible.
Let's see what they can do. We love the aggression on Penn State's team. They're hungry for this dub.
All right, Penn State's rock stopping a little shorter than intended, but that is serving as a nice little guard.
It is a nice guard, frozen right next to the Yellowstone in the top house. Looks like, again, they're trying to maybe call for the takeout. Looks like what they're trying to do, take out that blue stone in the center. If there's some power behind it. Let's see if it's online. Does not look like it's going to make... Oh,
It's a little fast, but... Wow.
it does take
Look at that.
the blue stone out. That's a solid takeout shot from Toledo.
Peeling both of the blue rock and the yellow one out of the house, taking both out of play. Fantastic move for Toledo. This now levels the playing field between the two of them. Penn State electing to replace that rock.
Little much on the power. Looks
Definitely
like it's going to
fast.
sneak out of the house.
Looks like the
Online,
line,
yeah.
the line they were going for, but just a little too much power behind it.
All right, looks like Toledo's calling for a similar shot, trying to get it in the button. Skip is saying it's online. Ended up knocking out Penn State's only stone left in the house.
Yeah.
Pretty solid shot from Toledo.
Toledo is playing brutal this time. It's a no-fly zone in the opposing house.
Looks like Jimmy, Penn State skip, calling once again to place something in the house now. Looks to be online.
All right, let's see it.
Curling a little bit to the right. Might just hit the yellow.
Wow. A little too wide. Tapping one of those
Looks
yellow
like
guards, but parking itself
pretty
nicely
much
in
on the
play.
button. A very good shot from Penn State. However, Toledo is going to try to knock that out right away.
I think I know what Toledo's going to attempt to do next.
They said take it out.
They don't like the rock, so they're going to take it out. Looks like that might be exactly what they do. Pass down the middle. Let's see if it connects.
It's looking pretty good. Let's see.
Beautiful.
Another beautiful takeout from Toledo.
Now their aim is really on point tonight. It took them that first end, but now they're dialed in. And keeping this house nice and clean for them.
It is important to note that Penn State does have hammer, so in an end like this, when it keeps going back and forth, the hammer is going to be crucial.
Yeah, but while they do have the hammer, it doesn't look like they're going to be walking away with many more than that. Many more points than that, I should say. Penn State trying their hand at a takeout, removing that Yellowstone and placing one of their blues in the 12-foot ring. Appears to be sitting. Toledo for a change of pace, attempting to draw behind one of those guards. Let's see it. Let's be a little fast. Line was good, but it's out the back of the house. This gives Penn State another opportunity to sneak another rock and play. Exactly what they're doing, following up Toledo's shot. Trying to place a stone in that 8-foot behind those guards.
Once again, out the back of the house.
I'm a little fast on this sheet today. Slides right out the back. Now, when I said they were trying to follow up Toledo's shot, I didn't think I meant that literally, but both ones have gone clean for the house. Both teams are down to their final 2 stones. Penn State currently sitting.
Looks like once again Toledo's calling for a draw right behind those 3 yellow guards on the right of the house. Looks like they actually switched the call.
All right, looks like Toledo might be dialed in. See if it sticks.
Penn State skip trying to sweep it out of the house, and looks like he's going to be successful.
Wow.
Out of play.
Just a hair too fast. All right, these next 2 stones are going to be very important for Penn State. Looks like this is going to be their chance to secure this end. They still have 1 sitting, but albeit barely. once again, playing a little too fast. Like what they were trying to do there, but it does seem that that lane is a little slick.
Looks like Toledo's on their last throw of this end.
That's right. I'm interested to see what they'll try to do. Wonder if they're going to attempt to draw or try to remove that Penn State rock.
Not quite sure, but I reckon we'll find out shortly.
Looks to be about draw weight. Pretty good draw weight at that.
Looks like it's gonna stick.
Wow, nice. Right on the money for him. Weight was perfect, stopping right in the edge of that 4-foot ring.
So I'm guessing Penn State's gonna try to take that out.
Absolutely. Down to their last rock. Going to be interesting if Penn State manages to take out that yellow. That's one for them.
Mm-hmm.
If they manage to stick and remove that yellow rock, that could potentially be two, either tying up or switching hands in this
I
game.
feel like they've been a little heavy on their throws, so I think a takeout would probably be the safer bet here. But
Absolutely.
see what the skip calls for.
Let's see it.
Looks like they went for the takeout. Oh,
It's good. Let's see what happens. Nice.
huge,
On the money.
huge
Taking out
move
that
for
yellow
Penn
rock,
State.
placing it, and leaving Penn State with two in the house.
Penn State achieving a 2 in the second end, now in the lead. All right, Penn State throws their first. Curling a bit to the left, might just stick on the side of the house. Not a bad shot.
Beautiful. Inside that 8-foot ring. Interesting that Penn State's electing to play aggressively this end. They are currently up by 1, but it looks like they're going for blood, trying to get a sitting rock within that first throw.
All right, Toledo's got some power behind this one.
Really does. I'm wondering if they're electing to also draw or try to interfere with that sitting blue. Look at that. Another beautiful draw. That's currently at or inside the 4-foot ring. Penn State calling for a hit and roll, attempting to knock that yellow out of play and bounce that blue that they're throwing in behind their guard. This works out. It'll put Penn State in a very favorable position for this end. Wow.
Pretty nice shot by Penn
Beautiful
State.
hit and roll. Perfect. Couldn't have asked for a better throw. Whoa.
Does
Another impressive throw from Toledo there. Sneaking one around and knocking out that rock. I really didn't expect that. I didn't think you could see it from
I'm
the
not sure if they
front.
quite expected it either, but it worked out in their favor.
Putting a little bit of a damper on some Penn State spirits, but it was a pretty good throw.
Rolled out the back of the house.
Ouch. Looks like they shot a little too narrow, missing that yellow at the back of the house. Toledo taking this opportunity to draw to the front of the house.
You tell the crowd's very excited to be here on this fine Sunday evening.
Toledo throwing a
Quite the
little
power on
fast for what they
Toledo.
want.
Almost took out their own stone, and they took out their
Hitting
own
their own rock.
stone.
Not 100% sure if that's what they were going for,
A
but
chuckle from the sweepers, not what they were planning on doing, but Penn State is not complaining about that shot, so.
not at all.
Just about frozen on their stone.
Look at
But they
that.
got some coverage.
Sure does. Penn State sitting two, with one rock tightly guarded. Both of them, one inside the 12-foot, one inside the 8. They're sitting very comfortably. Toledo deliberating whether or not they want to try to take out one of those sitting blues or if they want to try to draw in behind it to the 4-foot ring.
Looks like we had some debate on the ice.
You can cut the tension in this room with a knife. Gonna be an important throw for them.
Could not have said it better myself, Matthew.
Toledo throwing a little fast through the back of the house. Now, this gives Penn State a fantastic opportunity to guard what they have. Looks exactly like what they're going to do. Trying to put a guard at the front of the house. Right. Got a little closer than they wanted, but ultimately putting another rock in play. Penn State sitting 3.
It's pretty clear, but they're going to call for a takeout of some sort.
Sure does. So they're attempting to hit that front blue with enough power to knock that out, and then as well as the one behind it too. Double takeout would be hugely beneficial for them right now.
Managed to get one out of the house.
Sure does. Peeling that front rock. They didn't get quite the right angle to engage that one behind it, but certainly beneficial nevertheless.
Looks like Penn State's trying to replace that rock that was just removed.
That's right. Ultimately, smart move, trying to play a little defensive here. Looks good. Looks
Definitely,
good.
Penn State is not mad at that shot. A beautiful guard.
Lighting guard, front of the house.
Looks like they're calling for the same play, a takeout of some sort. Ideally, a double.
Dealing a double takeout, but it looks like they might also try to draw closer to that button. Be interesting to see what they elect to do with it.
You know what, Matt? They might be trying to draw it, like you said.
Interestingly enough. Here it is, got all three sweeping. Clips one of those front blues, stopping a little bit short. Penn State appears to be still sitting 2.
Penn State is up.
See, looks like Penn State's attempting to split this house here, but looks like they threw a little too slow. Rock crosses the hog line.
Another high
Snaps a little
guard.
short. Will serve as a nice little guard for what they have right now.
Down to the last couple stones. Penn State's still sitting. Dying very quick. Wonder if it's
Third
gonna
does. Wow.
make it past the hog line. Might die right before. And yep, it's out of play.
That rock is burned.
Unfortunate shot by Toledo. Also dying pretty quick.
Sure does. Interesting.
Both teams struggling with the speed the last few throws.
All right, Toledo with the hammer. Let's see what they'll do with it. I think they're attempting to draw to the button, but it looks like it might be a little wide.
Looks like it's going to tap Penn State's guard, and that it does.
Interesting. Scores being tallied up. So they like it. Looks
Penn
like
State
2
with
for Penn
another
State
2
on this
points.
third end. Another successful end for Penn State.
What a
Putting them
lively
on the board
crowd.
here.
You can feel the energy in this stadium. All right, Penn State throws their first. Seems to be moving a little fast. Might just sneak out the back of the house.
Sticks. It doesn't look like it. It looks to be a little fast.
Just a tad too much out of play.
FTB. FTB. We have an FTB. And then it just typos in. Oh, needed it. F4. Alright. Sorry about that. Got the cameras back. Lido putting a guard high up in the center.
Penn State trying to replicate the shot they had last throw. That was a
Sure
little
does.
too fast. Let's see if they can correct this mistake this time around.
Yeah, clearing that front guard and parking itself
Looks like it's gonna
nicely
stick.
inside the 4-foot. Sharp
Quite the
shooting from
shot
Penn
from Penn
State.
State. Certainly not upset with that shot. All right, Toledo sneaks one in the top of the house. Penn State is still sitting. All right, Toledo is calling for a freeze, which means they're trying to just kiss a designated stone. Ended up being a very solid takeout on Toledo. Not their plan, but as the skip said, hey, I'll take it. Penn State skip calling for takeout weight. A solid takeout from Penn State.
Beautiful takeout from Penn State.
Thank you for echoing that.
Not a problem. Anytime. It looks like Toledo burned that last rock. Penn State electing to throw up another guard. All right, little fast for a guard, but Penn State has another rock in the house. Not exactly what they wanted, but not exactly hurting either. Toledo attempting to use that last rock thrown to their advantage, trying to park right on top of it. All right, let's see it. Toledo throwing takeout weight. Gonna clear that front guard. Wow. Just barely nicking that front rock and sliding out right through the center. Pretty tough throw, all things considered.
Penn State calling for the same shot. Appears to be high guard.
He does. Penn State to another effective guard, parking right out front of those two sitting rocks.
Toledo calling for your takeout.
Interesting. I wonder how much of that front rock they can see realistically. So he's going to have to be real fast and real straight in order to get it.
Penn State has some pretty solid protection up top.
Here comes. Looks like it might be a little tad wide.
Just
Yeah.
barely misses.
Missing just by a hair, a little wide, going out the back of the house. Interesting they went for the takeout there. I didn't see a lot of other throws they could have picked, but ultimately that was a really difficult shot. They couldn't have seen more than 50% of that blue in the 8-foot ring.
Looks like Penn State trying to throw another guard.
Look at that. Penn State throwing a nice high guard just past the hog line.
Not mad about it. Offering some.
It'll make it a little bit harder if Toledo elects to go for another takeout.
It's going to be a relatively difficult takeout. At least the
It
most
really
difficult one we've
does.
seen as far as tonight goes.
Looks like Toledo might be calling for another takeout. It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it plays out.
Certainly pretty wide. Barely going to make it past the hog line.
Definitely wide, definitely slow. Passing the hog line, Rock is in play, but ultimately not affecting much on the playing field. Penn State looks like they might be electing to throw up yet another guard.
They're on their last zone of the end.
Sure does. Makes sense to play defensively here.
Yeah, nothing much more you can do than just throw up more protection.
Look at that. It's a really effective guard from Penn State.
That's going to be quite the hard takeout.
Toledo doesn't have a whole lot to work off of here with their last draw. If I were them, I would elect to try to hit and roll off of that blue. Looks to be what they might be trying to do. That would allow them to sneak a rock into that 4-foot ring without having direct line of sight to it. Wow. Throwing a little inside. Potentially elevating other Penn State rock. Not 100% sure if that's in, but it definitely looks like 3.
Penn State with another 3. On Ice confirms that they are now 7-1, not 5-7, Matt. Might want to fix that. I believe Doja Cat might be making an appearance on ice. Doja Cat.
Hold on, getting a call from one of our talent acquisition specialists. It appears we do not have money in the budget for Doja Cat to appear tonight. Halftime show is unfortunately canceled, meaning we are moving direct to this fifth end.
We'll have to make do with something else. Also, to our 14 loyal viewers, feel free to throw some questions up in the chat.
Let's talk to our fans here.
Oh, now we're up 15 viewers, even better.
All right, Toledo attempting to take out that rock in front of the house. Fast and right down the center line. Beautiful takeout. Peeling both that yellow and that blue and returning us to an empty house.
An empty slate to work with.
All right, Penn State places another rock in the front of that house to replace that last one. Toledo might be electing to try to draw in behind that.
Looks like Toledo has one at the top left of the house.
Sure does. Removing that Penn State rock, replacing it with one of their own.
Calling for a draw.
Look at that.
Penn State stuck one in the back left of the house.
Sure does. Toledo electing to follow that up. Looks like they might be trying to take it out, actually. Sure does seem to be a little fast. That's heavy, narrow, slides right out the back.
Penn State skip, calling for the same shot with just a little bit less power.
That's right. They're going to try to elect to follow up, place one a little further north of that one in the back of the house. Look at that. Beautiful throw from Penn State, parking itself right on the 8-foot ring.
Almost exactly what they called for.
Exactly what they called for. Toledo leading the game in attempted takeouts, trying to remove one of those blues. See if they can get the aim dialed in. No, still narrow. Power was good though. All right. Penn State electing to guard the rocks they have in play. Looks like they will be successful.
Just taps Penn State's rock. All right, Toledo's up. Looks like they're calling for a draw.
Sure does. Toledo electing to throw. Looks like they're attempting to draw into the center. We flip to that far house. Let's see. It's a little fast, but interesting to see that Toledo's electing to play the right side of the house. Penn State choosing to play the left. They've got that banana shape of 3 blue stones going around the 4-foot ring. And they've been pretty successful with keeping those rocks in play.
Penn State is up. All right. It's dying a little bit. Moving slow as a turtle towards the hog line.
And stopping just short. Wow. Another rock burn.
Coming down to the last couple rocks of the end. Penn State sitting comfortably.
very comfortably. These past couple events, Penn State's been putting a lot of rocks on the board. It's like a carpet of blue in that far house. Let's see if Toledo can replace that. Toledo throwing looks like it goes a little wide, clipping that blue guard.
Takes out Penn State's high guard. See what Penn State's calling for. Looks like they want to place another guard.
Sure does. It's absolutely in Penn State's interest to guard the rocks they have in play at the moment.
Looks like it's gonna die at the top of the house. Penn State is not mad at that shot. That's some good protection. Looks like what they're sitting.
It looks like they're sitting 3, actually.
Calling for a draw from Toledo. Does not seem like enough power.
Sure doesn't. Needs more
It's gonna
sauce.
get knocked out of play.
Stop and short the hog
Unfortunately,
line.
Penn State's still up, sitting 2 or 3.
Looks like it for that end. So if you're tallying it up, word on the ice. Looks like 3.
Penn State is up 3.
3 more rocks for Penn State.
Penn State will now be up by 9 going in the 5th end, you know. In the 6th end, correction, I apologize. And they're sitting pretty comfortably.
Really is. Could be a product of the home ice advantage here.
You know, I heard if Penn State comes up with this win, the coach will buy him a little pizza party.
Not what I heard. Take a look at the club budget.
You know what? They need some motivation on the ice. And the motivation is a pizza party.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a correction on the ice. Penn State actually scored 4 in the last 10, not 3, which will make it 11-1. You know, Penn State is sitting pretty comfortably. You'll see them probably take more aggressive plays instead of playing it safe since they have some wiggle room to work with.
They could and they should. At this point, playing aggressively will put a lot of points on the board, and they can afford to take a potential loss here. Kind of the go big or go home mentality.
All right, Penn State throws a guard at the top of the house.
All right, looks like Toledo's electing to draw in. Interesting to see if this will clear that front blue.
Looks like it died a little quicker than they
Short.
anticipated. All right, Penn State skip calling for a takeout. Too far to the right. Toledo calling for a guard.
Sure does. At this point in the game, you'd want to secure those points you have.
The line is not good. Way far to the right
Let's
of
see
what they
if
were
you'll
calling
thread
for.
between that front rock. Barely, like between the teeth on a comb, clears that front rock.
All right, so Penn State skip calling for once again a takeout. Let's see if they can correct their mistake from last throw and get that out of there. See how the line is? It might just snake to the left of it. Another unsuccessful takeout, Penn State. All right, looks like Toledo once again is calling for the same shot as last time, a guard. All right,
Look at
just
that.
taps their yellow
Toledo
one,
threading around that front yellow.
promotes their yellow, maybe just a little bit too much. I think it sticks just in the back of the house.
Barely sticking, but not exactly counting.
Looks like Penn State's calling to promote their rock at the top of the house to get closer to the button. Tops their rock. Not exactly what they were going for, but still has a rock in play.
All right, Toledo electing to draw center. All right, let's see if it clears that front rock. Doesn't. Just barely nicks it. Peels off.
Looks like it might stick. Interesting play.
Sure does. Looks
Not
like
sure
Penn
if that's
State's
what they
attempting
wanted.
to play off of that center yellow.
Looks like Penn State trying to draw.
It's to be a little narrow.
And out the back of
Wrong
the
side of the button,
house.
actually, and glides right out the back. Toledo jumping at the opportunity to put more rocks in play. Looks like they're trying to place one in front of that 8-foot ring. All right, Toledo falling a little bit short of that house. Not quite what they wanted, but does seem to serve as the center guard.
Looks like Penn State's debating on doing yet another takeout. They've tried twice and were unsuccessful both times, so maybe they can finally get that yellow out of there. All right, Penn State throwing a takeout. Let's see if they can.
Sure is fast. Wow.
Jimmy did
It's a
not hold
rocket.
back, and it's not what they were going
Clean
for.
hit on the center, replacing that front rock. Not really to anyone's benefit, unfortunately.
Penn State is really struggling to take that yellow out. Maybe fourth time will be the charm.
Sure does. Still have one rock remaining for Penn State. Toledo has 2 more left to throw.
Not much action on the ice as of now. Not sure what Toledo is calling for yet. Maybe a draw or some sort of guard.
Does look to be light leaving his hand.
Looks like they're trying to protect what they already have in the house. It's dying pretty quick. Looks like it's going to be quite the high guard. Let's see if Penn State is going to try take out once again.
Look at that. Hey, I don't know. Doing 2.5. Wow. Okay. Perfect 90.
All right, Penn State skip throwing their final rock of this end. Nice and fast. Threads the needle.
And for the 4th time, Penn State misses this takeout.
Like between the teeth and a hairbrush, just barely missing those 2 rocks.
Toledo's last rock of the end. You can tell there's a lot of bottled up tension on the ice between both teams, it says.
All right, that concludes the 6th end. Let's try to figure out with our correspondents on the ice.
All right, so on the ice we have confirmation that Toledo scored 1 in that end, making it 11-2. Penn State is up.
All right, that brings the score to 2-11 going to the seventh end. Hammer goes to Penn State.
Unfortunately, we have a dead camera, which we're going to fix momentarily, so we only have this one view for now, but I'll keep you updated. Toledo just sinks one in the top of the house, so they are currently sitting, and Penn State's trying to take that out. Luckily, we have some skilled technological savvies on the curling team that are fixing this camera issue.
It appears that we have talked to our correspondents on the moon, biggest rock in the Earth system.
Appears as though we accidentally replaced it with a telescope.
Moon is a big sponsor of curling in the U.S.
Big fan of Penn
They
State
love big
curling.
rocks. But back to the ice. Looks like Toledo's sitting at the moment. Beginning of the end. Taking this opportunity to sneak another rock into the 8-foot. Or I should say edge of the 8-foot.
All right, looks like Penn State once again is calling for a takeout. They have not had a very high success rate with their takeouts recently, so hopefully they can knock this one out.
Let's see if some of these beginning ends were any indication. It's like Penn State might bubble back up to the
Just to
top.
the left once again.
Barely missing.
All right, see what Toledo can do here. Pretty light shot, might be throwing up a guard. Looks like Penn State's calling for a draw.
All right, looking a little light to be a draw. Barely getting it in. Looks like it's definitely in the house, but not currently sitting. Just a little too light for what Penn State was trying to do with that. right, looks like Toledo is electing to.
Knocks their own guard to the definitely not what they were.
Not sure what they were going for actually, but it does
I
clip
feel like
their
it's safe
front
to say it
guard.
was not that. Looks like Penn State once again is going to try a takeout. Let's see if they can finally get that out of there. Definitely some weight on that.
It sure is.
Hopefully the line is good.
Penn State threw that meaning business.
They've been really struggling with the takeouts recently.
Interesting. Heals both of those rocks. Actually, that yellow might be barely sticking in the back of that house. Now, if I was Toledo, I would try to elect to remove that front blue. Right now, that's the only thing separating you from walking away with the point this end.
Very insightful, Matt. Looks like the skip and the thrower
Electing between
are.
either to take that rock out or draw behind it.
Looks like the skip and the thrower going back and forth, debating on what to do next, almost as if a game of hot potato. All right, Penn State throwing.
Wondering what they're electing to do. Toledo just replaced that rock in the front of the house with one of their own.
It's not going in the house.
Sure is parking itself squarely inside the 8-foot ring. Now, especially with that blue rock in play, Toledo still has a significant hump to overcome in order to walk away with some points. All right, looks like Toledo's electing to go for the takeout. Got a lot of power behind it. See how that shot's looking. Beautiful. Perfect line. Almost a double, but barely didn't have enough energy to kick out that blue. But Toledo's really taking charge of the house this round. They're keeping rocks in play, and they're all spread out, meaning it's going to be hard to remove those.
Indeed, they definitely spread out the house, making it very difficult for Penn State to take anything out.
That's right. A house divided amongst itself.
Wise words.
All right, let's see if Penn State threads the needle. parking it just inside that 8-foot ring. Here's that Penn State is currently sitting.
Looks like Toledo's debating on doing a takeout.
Sure does. That'd be the brightest thing for them right now.
Let's see if he throws what he is meant to do.
You're a cheater. You're a cheater. No, I got it. No, I oh, yeah. I'm too smart.
Well, that's resourceful. I'm being resourceful.
Maybe it's just a me expression, but like if something's perfect, that's a me. So it was me.
Oh.
I didn't even think about it.
I
But
think that Steve.
I use that all the time.
Wait, hold on. Engineering.
All right. All right. Penn State still currently in control of the House. Looks like they're gonna play a little bit defensively, throwing a little short, guarding that rock currently in play. Worth reminding that Penn State has the hammer, so it is in their interest to keep the front of the house clear so they can sneak one in. But that's not important because that was the last rock of this end. Let's see who walked away with what. All right, Penn State walking away with 1 point at the 7th end.
Curling club is unfair. Sam punches over there. Standing out the concession. Plotting our oppression. Curling club is unfair. Sam punches over there. Standing out the concession. Plotting our oppression. Curling club is unfair. Sam punches over there. Standing out the concession. Plotting our oppression.
Well, that was certainly interesting from the fan section. I don't really have much to say about that. Anyways, let's see what's happening on the ice. Final end.
That Penn State likely to play a little defensively, putting a guard up in the front.
Oh, looks like we got a tumble in the ice on the other sheet. Man down, man right back up though. Penn State sneaking one in the top of the house. Toledo calling for a draw. Unfortunately, lost their line a little bit. Just skims the blue guard.
Sneaking through and out the back. So with only about 6 rocks left for them to play in this end, there's not a lot of freedom when it comes to engineering a game time strategy here. Best they can do is put some points on the board, but does not seem to be a margin they can overcome.
They're still finishing the game with a fight. Seeing if they can put a few more points on the board. Squeezes just past the hog line. High guard. Not much power behind that one from Toledo. Looks like it's going to serve as a high guard. Penn State skip calling for a draw.
Looks like their draw might be a little outside, clipping that front guard.
Toledo is up. Decent speed on it. See if they can take out.
Look at that, clipping one of those
Unsuccessful.
front blues and disappearing off to the side. Now, if it didn't clip one of those guards, looks like they were going for that blue in the 8-foot ring.
Penn State skip calling for another draw. See if they can plug in a couple more points on the board.
Fascinating way to word it.
Thank you. Pretty eloquent on this Sunday evening.
You guys are pretty sad.
You were doing great, and then you panicked.
Wait, you guys are pretty sad. That's gonna be the ultimate one. That reminds me of my dream. It's almost paralyzed. Like my stomach just hurts.
All right, looks like Toledo's electing to take out some more stones. You're not going to go out quietly.
They're going out with a bang.
Look at that. Ba-ba. Taking out that blue rock.
Replacing it with one of their own.
Yeah, well, two more rocks to take out. Penn State electing to draw on top of that. It's that Penn State rock peeling off one of those front guards.
Going for a draw. Looks like it's going to stick in the back of the house.
All right, it looks like Penn State's attempting to go big or go home. Draw an extra stone in. Yes. Okay. Okay. That Penn State rock gets caught up in the front of the house. Looks like Toledo's calling for a takeout. Going for one of those front two blues. Yeah, Toledo's been pretty good with getting their takeouts. It's they've been very consistent. Curling consistency is your bread and butter, your lettuce and tomatoes of the sport. It's very important.
I literally didn't hear that. You have to face like me when you say it.
All right, we'll watch this straight. As in, consistency, the bread and butter, the lettuce and tomatoes of the sport. It's not. No, but it's not a saying. No one's ever said.
No, you just start creating your own thing. Yeah, that's why.
Um. Let me think. Let me think. Insurance. That's a fun one. All right, another rock falls short in front of the house. Both teams are down to their final rocks. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with them.
Penn State's final rock.
It's be a little fast. Interesting. Just to peel off a front guard and kick it out of the house.
was gonna say. I got a cheerleader that took a tomboy in there, and she was
Stretch. No, that's an awful way.
That's what I do.
Well, I mean, you can think about insurance, not like a medical sense.
Like,
Well, I can't tell you because I have a great example. I could use it if you gave it to me. Think about it. You have one more rock.
All right, lots of debate between Toledo for their final shot.
That's right. Putting a lot of thought into this. We give it some weight. Sounds like last one, fast one to me.
Got some weight on it.
Sure does. Looks like it's hugging the center line. Actually, I might going a little wide. See what happens.
Looks like it, started to curl right by that Highmark insurance sign up on the wall over there.
And that appears to be game.
And Penn State with the win. A
Penn
well-deserved.
State may have walked away with a another rock at the end. All right. So with that final score, probably a 2-13, we are concluding coverage of this game. So we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. It was a pleasure commentating for you guys tonight, and it's a pretty fun game. This was the first travel match that Penn State has hosted, and it went pretty well. So
Thank you for
guys
tuning in. Good curling.